in the diminishment of chronic disease within 2 years. And I said, Mr. President, I will do that.
Meanwhile,
let's get a card over here. Burn it all. Come on. Burn everything. Burn the classified. Everything. Get it all.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. What RFK Jr.'s influence on Trump could mean for Big Pharma, the FDA, CDC, all that good juicy stuff. Shout out to everybody watching. Drop your comments down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. The US presidential election is decided, and one name is suddenly circulating through healthcare, and that is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. President-elect Donald Trump has promised Kennedy a large role in the new administration, signaling he could be the head influence guiding some of the nation's health policies moving forward. And Kennedy, who does not have any medical background or degree, but he has made it clear that he has some very big ideas when it comes to the way that Big Pharma moves around in the United States. According to this article this week, Kennedy outlined 3 goals directed to him from Trump. One is to clean up corruption, return health agencies to evidence-based science, and make America healthy again. Robert F. Kennedy is probably one of the most controversial figures when we're talking about public health and the health debate. RFK, depending on who you ask, is either a public health hero or a conspiracist.
And you know, one of the things I'm going to advise Donald Trump to do in order to correct the chronic disease epidemic is to ban pharmaceutical advertising on TV.
Just somebody simply asking questions to Big Pharma that they don't know the answer to. So what is the truth? And what else is our government hiding or trying to cover up?
You finally succeeded in getting the NIH to commit $11 million to your little committee had some authority to direct some money. And you said, let's direct a small amount of this money, a mere $11 million, to studying whether vaccines are causing autism. The director of the program, Tom Insel, comes in after this vote, after the study was already approved by the committee, comes back at the next meeting. It wasn't even on the agenda. And he said, we got to kill that study because if we find out vaccines are causing autism, there are 5,000 cases of people who are suing the agency, and we don't want to help them with their lawsuit by telling them the truth.
First off, a lot of people are questioning if RFK is an anti-vaxxer, because if you listen to mainstream media, they painted him as a guy who wants us all sick.
Well, to be honest, I can't believe we're actually having this conversation. I mean, if you look, that science and technological advances have allowed us to live 30 years longer than we did 100 years ago. And now you have this man, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's a science denialist, a virulent anti-vaccine activist, a conspiracy theorist who will have some sway over public health. Nothing good can come of that. He denies those advances. He simply declares his own scientific truths. It's a dangerous moment.
There was a lot of self-interest and self-dealing here, and this is the government covering up an impact because they don't want to get a black eye.
But if you check around, like what Robert Redfield is going to say, a guy who has a pretty serious pro-vaccine background, he has a lot of positive things to say about RFK.
They have too much control to get regulated in a way that will make the food what Bobby wants it to be. And Bobby is a kooky anti-vaxxer and won't capture the trust of the American people because of that. Address both.
Yeah, first, for sure, I know that Bob Kennedy is not an anti-vaxxer. You know, I'm one of the biggest advocates of vaccines probably in public health. And I know for a fact that Kennedy's not an anti-vaxxer. What he wants is transparency about vaccines.
RFK simply just wants transparency about the vaccines and to have honest dialogue about it. Imagine that, guys. honest dialogue about vaccines. It's not just like, oh, hey, we made this thing. You take it. Trust us. Trust us. Redfield went on to say that RFK is looking to make sure that these things are actually safe. Actually safe. It's crazy when you think about that. Redfield took it even a step further, comparing Kennedy's mission with public health to Redfield's experience with big tobacco.
And have an honest dialogue about it. He's not anti-science. Again, he wants transparency about vaccines. I remember when I was a young doctor and I felt that we should go for a class action suit against the tobacco industry. And everybody told me I was nuts. Would never happen. This was in the 70s. And in fact, when I look at where we are today, we actually recognize that the tobacco industry was not in the interest of the health of the American public. And we've changed that. I believe we can do the same here. We have to be honest. We have to be consistent. But I do think Kennedy has the leadership capacity, commitment, and passion to get this accomplished.
Remember the days when doctors recommended smoking and you could smoke everywhere? You could smoke in a plane. And everybody thought tobacco was harmless. Redfield drew a direct line saying that RFK, in his battle with the current public health, reminds him of his experience with big tobacco in the 1970s. He was called crazy back then too, and we all know how that ended. Tobacco didn't actually turn out to be a health food. Now, RFK wants to apply the same scrutiny to vaccines. Redfield thinks that RFK has the leadership and guts to actually make something happen. And he said that he is 100% in his court. So the question is, why are people labeling RFK an anti-vaxxer?
Now, I just want to make this clear. I don't want to take vaccines away from people.
Well, right.
I don't want to impose my choices on the American public.
understand.
If vaccines are working for you, you ought to be able to get them. And I'll make sure that that happens. But people should have informed choice. So they should have good science that tells them the costs and the benefits of these products, and particularly since they're being ordered to use them. 76 million kids a year are required to use them. And they're healthy children. So it's the only medical product that's given to healthy people.
Here's a fun fact. According to RFK, no top doctor, vaccinologist, or health expert has agreed to debate him on this. And that's right, not even one. At a News Nation town hall, RFK makes a point. He claims that no vaccine on the U.S. vaccination schedule has gone through what's called pre-license safety testing. Now, you think someone from Big Pharma or the CDC would love to pounce and jump on an opportunity or chance to publicly humiliate RFK or maybe even set the record straight. But so far, no takers.
I think most people don't know what my stance is on vaccines. I've never been anti-vaccine. And I've said that hundreds and hundreds of times, but it doesn't matter because that is a way of silencing me. Using that pejorative to describe me is a way of silencing or marginalizing me. My position on vaccines, I think, virtually every American would agree with my stance on vaccines, which is that vaccines should be tested like other medicines. They should be safety tested. And unfortunately, vaccines are not safety tested. They're not. Of the 72 vaccine doses now mandated, essentially mandated, they're recommended, but they're really mandated for American children. None of them, not one, has ever been subject to a pre-licensing placebo-controlled trial.
Yes, they have.
No.
Yes, they have.
Okay, let me just say something. Dr. Fauci and many other people for many years said this, that Bobby Kennedy, when he says that, is wrong. So I met with Dr. Fauci in 2016, and I agreed to go on Trump's Vaccine Safety Commission, and I was with Aaron Siri and Lynn Redwood and a number of other people, and we said to him, can you show us one test from any vaccine, pre-licensing safety test? And he said, I'll send it to you. I can't find one now. He never did. So we sued him. We sued, Aaron Siri and I sued HHS. And after a year of litigation and stonewalling, they said that they could not provide a single safety study for any vaccine that is on the childhood schedule, pre-licensing safety study. So anybody who wants to read that can go to the Children's Health Defense website, and you can read HHS's admission that not a single one has ever been safety tested pre-licensing. Now, what I've said is other medicines are required to do that. And we should have to do that for vaccines. If I'm wrong, show me the test, show me the study. You won't be able to.
Makes you wonder, if he's just spouting nonsense, why not just debate him and shut him down immediately if it's not true? Probably because it isn't. Or maybe they just don't have the answers and don't want to be fully exposed. RFK and Donald Trump have an entire plan for this country, and they call it MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. RFK's MAHA plan isn't just about vaccines. It's about a broader strategy to tackle root causes of American health issues. From better food policies to cleaner air, the man has a vision, and I back him. It's one that's not particularly popular with big corporations and government health agencies. We all know why. But the goal here is to get us off pharmaceuticals that we don't actually need and to actually get healthier. Call it maybe a return to common sense, or call it a challenge to Big Pharma's bottom line.